Herkese merhaba. Çok kısa bir giriş yapıp sonra oturuma İngilizce olarak devam edeceğim. Dileyenler simultane çeviriyi kullanabilirler. Bildiğiniz üzere 2 gün sonra 23 Nisan Ulusal Egemenlik ve Çocuk Bayramı. Bizler gelecek nesillere çok güveniyoruz. Onlar her alanda fark yaratacak, yaratıyor. Bu nedenle bugün oturumu sevgili Mila ile birlikte yöneteceğiz. Kendisi Gelecek Nesil temsilcisi olarak Goodall'a sorularını yöneltecek. Hoş geldin sevgili Milacığım.
Hoş bulduk.
Hazırsan oturumumuza başlayalım. Konuğumuza çok ufak bir hoş geldiniz deyip sonra mikrofonu sana devredeceğim, tamam mı? Hazır mısın?
Olur.
Süper. Welcome everyone. We are hosting Jane Goodall at the session. Welcome dear Jane Goodall. Thank you so much for being with us today. It's really an honor to host you here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, Mila and me are gonna moderate the session together. Mila is 7 years old and she is with us as the representative of the next generation. And April 23rd is the National Serenity and Children's Day in Turkey. So it means a lot that we also have a young generation leader here today, because eventually it is also their world, their future that we all destroy or save, hopefully. Now, Mila has 2 questions for you. She will start, and then I will ask my questions. So, dear Mila, the stage is yours. You can start.
Thank you. Hello, Jane. My name is Mila. I am 7 years old.
Yes, Mila, you can. You can ask.
Hello, Jane. My name is Mila. I am 7 years old. I am just like you because I love nature and animals. I have 5 cats, 2 dogs, and 4 fish, and many more in the garden. I learned a lot from you and David Attenborough. I learned from your books and your movies. I have a question for you. When you were a child, what did you do for nature and animals?
Well,
Yeah. Mila asks, if you were 7 years old today, what would you do about nature, about the climate crisis, and how would you fight? She asked you.
Oh, okay. Well, if I was 7 years old today, I would probably do what you're doing. I would learn about animals. I would watch them. I would try and learn why we are having a hotter and hotter and hotter climate, and talk to people and see what I could do. And there's actually a lot that you can do to help by making the right choices in what you eat, and try and eat plants and not too many animals, because that makes a big difference. And just talk to people and do all the things you can do to help.
Thank you. You can ask your second question, Mila.
Okay. And what can I do today to help the planet?
What would you recommend her to do? What should she demand from her elders for her future? She asked you.
Well, for one thing, Mina, I wouldn't demand anything. I would tell stories. I would tell people what you've learned about how the environment is being harmed and how animals are being mistreated, and tell them about it. And then hopefully when you tell them, and you tell them that it hurts you to learn these things, then they'll want to change to help you. But if you demand something from them, they may say, oh, you're not old enough to demand anything. We know what's best. So tell them stories, tell them what you've learned, get them to be to understand why you're worried, and then they'll help you and the planet.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you, Mila. You're very brave asking these questions. I would not have dared at 7.
yeah, thank you, Mila. Now it is my turn. Okay? So,
Okay.
yeah. So this is really an exceptional and beautiful session for me, because we have 3 generations here. I'm very happy, really. So my first question is, could you tell us a bit about the Goodall'ı Institute? For what purposes did you found it, and what are you doing there?
Okay, well, first of all, I learned about the chimpanzees, as most people know, and I've started a little research station, and I found out more and more and more about how wonderful chimpanzees are and how like us they are. And then in 1986, at a big conference, which I helped organize, I learned that right across Africa, chimp numbers were going down and forests were disappearing. And at that point, I knew that I had to leave my beautiful, beautiful life in the forest and see what I could do to help. And so one of the things which one of my friends helped to do was to start the Jane Goodall Institute. That wasn't until 1977, and it was in America. And it was founded, and I listed out what we would do. We would continue to fund studying chimpanzees. We would fund conservation efforts for chimpanzees. We would also help to preserve forests for the other great apes and monkeys, and actually all animals. And we would spend a lot of time thinking about educating the next generation. So what began in 1977 in one country is now in 35 countries. Turkey is one of them. And we're doing exactly what I planned we would do in the first place. We're still studying the chimps at Gombe. We're studying chimps in 6 other African countries. We're protecting their environment in all those places. We're also doing research and still finding out new things about these chimps in Gombe. We're also improving welfare of chimpanzees and other animals in zoos, because that's very important. And finally, the education part is Roots and Shoots. And Roots and Shoots is now in 61 countries, and I believe it's growing fast in Turkey. And Roots and Shoots is a group of young people, kindergarten, university, everything in between, even young people out in business. And they choose 3 projects to make the world a better place. One to help people, one to help animals, one to help the environment. And I can tell you that there's thousands and thousands of young people right now with their sleeves rolled up, and they're going out and they're taking action, and they're clearing trash, and they're working on reducing plastic, and they're trying to get people to eat less meat or become vegan. And they're just doing whatever their heart tells them to do. And it's quite amazing what they're doing.
Thank you so much. Actually, you are kind of answered my second question, but I will ask anyway. Maybe you can add something. So you, in some of your speeches, you say that we have to find our own way for a good future. So could you explain the message you want to convey with this idea a little bit more? And what are some mistakes that companies or business leaders make and harm our world? Could you please share with us a few important mistakes as well as your messages to them in this context?
Well, the most important message for everybody is to remember that every day we live, we make some impact on the planet. And collectively, if we all make ethical choices in how we live, that moves us towards a better world. And in many parts of the world today, we're still battling the pandemic, COVID-19. It's caused a lot of suffering. But at the same time, the silver lining, more people understand that we brought it on ourselves by our disrespect of animals and our disrespect of nature. And that same disrespect of nature has led to climate change and loss of biodiversity. So it's becoming increasingly clear to more and more people that we have to that we have to find a new way of relating to the environment, a new, more sustainable economy. And we have to work to persuade businesses to do their work in a more ethical way. And it's happening. There are many CEOs, and sometimes their children have persuaded them to behave differently. Like if Mina's parents were CEOs, she might tell them how worried she is, and they might decide to change their business ethics. So, and changed business ethics can also influence governments in many countries because there's a relationship between the two. So we need to move forward in a new way, and we've got enough intelligence between us to find a solution for a better future.
Okay, thank you. So, and my last question is, what is the biggest obstacle or obstacles that get in the way of measures that should be taken in order to prevent climate change? And your last messages, please.
Well, okay, so I think the message is that it's crazy to think we can have unlimited economic development on a planet with finite natural resources. Already they're being used up in some places faster than nature can replenish them. So we have to develop a new mindset. If anybody cares about future generations, if anybody cares about the health of the planet, and we must remember that we are part of and dependent on the environment, on healthy ecosystems. And as species go extinct and climate change rages across the world, we're seeing ecosystem collapse in more and more places. And if this continues, it will be the end of us. So we just have to get together and find a new way of doing things before it's too late. And that's where Roots and Shoots is making such a difference, because not only are they taking action, but they are changing attitudes of parents.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There is so much to talk, but unfortunately we are running out of time. Thank you so much for sharing very valuable insights with us, and hope to meet again and host you here in Turkey sometime. So, Mila, do you have any message to our guests? Because we are gonna close the session and we are gonna say goodbye.
I do have one. I'm so happy I can be with you and celebrate Earth Day.
Yes, that's right. Earth Day tomorrow. But you know what's important, Mina? Every single day should be Earth Day. We must think about Mother Earth every single day to save her. So, and it was lovely talking to you. And I know you're part of Roots and Shoots. And so you're changing the world. Good for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, Mila. Thank you, Jane Goodall. I'm very happy to have you both here. So, see you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
I'll end up with a chimpanzee greeting for you. That just means me, Jane. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.